Martin pressing Pourcel. Pourcel, a veteran, racing a long time, won a world title in his native Europe. Martin pretty new to this deal, but he has learned quickly.
Basically, when we say pretty similar equipment, it's the same.
Yeah.
They both get factory Yamaha support. Both teams do. So theoretically, the equipment is the same. It comes down to rider preference, and you know, with different teams, there might be different sponsors. Maybe one guy's got a different gas sponsorship, or you know, different clamps or whatever. But 90% of this all ends up coming out the same, and it comes down the rider. Martin landing in those ruts again, got some head shake. So just watch Martin's bike. I'm wondering if the forks maybe are just a little bit stiff, because I've been seeing some head shake from him over the last couple sections.
Explain what the head shake is there. It's bar start.
The best way to explain it, because you can't see my hands right now, going crazy. Head shake is basically, if you've got your hands on the handlebar, imagine your left hand goes forward and the right hand goes back, then the right hand goes forward and the left hand goes back. That's head shake, where the front end starts switching, and there's nothing scarier than going down these hills with head shake.
No, it's one of the fastest sections they'll hit all year. Let's give you the motorsport.com whole shot replay.
Well, we didn't know who was going to have this one, because we saw several guys that looked like they had it. Oh, unfortunately, that's the 450.
I think we have Bogle into the first turn out front, but watch Pourcel stealing it away. That's what it looked like there.
Yep, he did steal it, because I thought Bogle had, at one point I thought Marvin had it, but he ran a little bit too wide and ended up coming out 5th.
Martin having to go to work on Pourcel again. So yeah, we'll watch the front end of that motorcycle. Like we said, the equipment, you know, it all looks the same between Pourcel and Martin, but as you said, it's the rider preference. They can make little tweaks. Yeah. And depending on that, it could change everything. I mean, you look at James Stewart in the 450 class, same equipment the first 4 weeks of the year, but just adjusting that equipment has obviously made a huge difference.
And then you got someone like Ken Roczen, when, you know, his mechanic, Kelly Lumgear, a friend of mine from South Africa as well, ironically. Yeah. But he was saying with Ken, it's like, hey, what number handlebar do you use? Whatever, you know.
Really?
Just make them kind of the straighter type, you know. They say he doesn't make changes. He adapts his style with the track and compensates that way. So someone that doesn't make a lot of adjustments, you know, where we see other guys, you know, sometimes making too many adjustments, you can get lost in that.
So a real chess match here between these two Yamaha riders on two different teams. You have Baggett right behind them, and Bogle making a real case for himself here. He is getting away from this fight. Bogle has never won a moto here at Lucas Oil Pro Motocross. This could be his opportunity.
Well, he seemed like he kind of got that little cushion almost immediately once he got around Pourcel, but it's kind of stayed the same. It's about 2 seconds at the moment, which, as we know on this track, 2 seconds is nothing, because you could lose that one corner. You could jump off the track. You could tuck the front end on an off-camber. A lot can happen.
This could be huge if Baggett's able to make the move on Martin. I don't know if you've really seen many people make passes on your series points leader this year. First of all, he's had great starts in nearly all the motos. And last week was trying to come through traffic and went down. You know, working a high line the outside on Pourcel. Going to lead back to the inside.
Drag race up the hill. Ooh, they cross lines. Martin now squares it up to go to the inside. Pourcel going the long way around, but carries that momentum. Martin unable to do anything about it.
The crafty Frenchman. Again, you just never know what you're going to get. There are times where it seems like Pourcel is slowing down, cruising, maybe even letting you by, and then just when you get next to him, you realize, oh, he was just going to the perfect line to hold you off. So Baggett mentioned last week, and I think Martin is experiencing the same thing here.
Well, the way Christophe Pourcel rides, you know, you'll typically see a guy get in the rut and run the whole thing. Pourcel's the kind of guy that'll come in just on the outside of the rut, pivot, and cross over the rut, and just stay out of the deep stuff. Sometimes it's quicker, sometimes it's the same speed, but he's always smooth, uses very little energy, and in turn, obviously makes very few mistakes.
So if you're behind him and you see him not hit that main line, do you get wide-eyed and think, there's my opening, there's my chance?
I think you should, because no matter what you think of Christophe Pourcel, he does things on the track that the average guy doesn't even think about. Right. So he does have an incredible knack. You know, I've mentioned it before, but someone I really enjoyed watching growing up was Jean-Michel Bale. And this guy reminds me a little bit of Bale. Bale won a little bit more. I mean, that guy was incredible in his time, but you watch some of these things, and as a rider that can appreciate the technicality and the line selection, sometimes you will have to watch and just go, wow, that's impressive.
Baggett tightening up on Martin again, and I believe Musquin has gotten back into the fight as well, the 5th place spot. This time, Martin has the line on Pourcel. He finally finds the opening. Baggett knows he's got to do the same.
Baggett's got to go in a hurry, because
Yep.
right now, you talk about that chess match, Jason. Right now, Baggett's got to get around Pourcel, and if nothing else, just stalk Jeremy Martin the whole race, because that's going to increase the chance of Martin making a mistake or going down. And when it comes to racing, that's what you have to do.